you are walking down the street with your friend and someone stops to ask why you talk like that. Or you're in school and a kid asks, what's wrong with your speech? Or you're at work and someone asks why you talk black or white or Chinese, Italian, Indian, or really why you talk in any certain way that they disapprove of. How would questions about your speech and language make you feel? Questions like this are often posed to people who do not speak how their ethnicity is stereotypically expected to, and these questions were often posed to African American writer and journalist Rachel L. Jones. People would ask her why she talked white, and after receiving these questions throughout every stage of her life, Jones decided to explore these questions and the problems surrounding them in her 1982 essay, What's Wrong with Black English? In this video, let's recap Jones's essay and explore what makes it so effective. So, what is the essay What's Wrong with Black English about? Well, What's Wrong with Black English is a rebuttal to a comment made by sociolinguist William Labov, who researched African American vernacular English, or Black English. Labov claimed that it is the goal of most Black Americans to acquire full control of the standard language without giving up their own culture. Jones disliked Labov's claim because it does not acknowledge how many African American speakers who do have full control of standard English experience discrimination because of it. Labov's claim also does not acknowledge how many African Americans are forced to give up their use of Black English in certain situations to avoid further stigmatization and discrimination. This is Jones' claim, but how does she prove herself to be qualified to respond to Labov? Jones does so using ethos, or by building her credibility to prove that she is a speaker of both Black English and Standard English. She begins by explaining that she speaks Black English regularly with her family, though ain't and he be are not staples of her vocabulary. By mentioning these terms, she demonstrates that she speaks Black English. She then establishes herself as a speaker of Standard English by writing her essay, which is free from grammatical errors, missing punctuations, or misspellings. She also establishes herself as a well-read reader of Standard English by mentioning authors like L. Frank Baum, Ray Bradbury, and Toni Morrison. By writing in both Standard English and Black English, Jones establishes herself as a master of both languages, who can therefore provide a rebuttal to Labov's claim. Additionally, Jones is an African American speaker of both Standard English and Black English, while Labov is a white speaker of Standard English. This makes readers more inclined to listen to Jones, who has experienced discrimination for speaking Black English, than Labov, who has not experienced that discrimination. So, Jones establishes herself as a credible writer and speaker of Standard English and Black English, allowing her to rebut Labov's claim and thus making her essay more effective. But what else does she do to make her essay effective? Jones builds the effectiveness of her essay by speaking from experience and referencing studies to build the logic of her argument that African Americans are discriminated against if they use Black English or Standard English. Let's hop in the thought bubble to look at this. Huh? What do you mean? The copyrighted thought bubble? I can't use it? Oh, well, let's hop in the thought buble. Jones's ability to speak Standard English often landed her at the receiving end of a great deal of discrimination. During her childhood, her peers would often ask her, "Why do you talk like you're white?" And bullies even threatened her, demanding an explanation as to why she talked proper. During her adulthood, Jones struggled to find housing because she sounded white over the phone, yet was African American. Why did she experience this discrimination? Because Jones is African American, others expect her to speak Black English, which is equated with being Black. Because Standard English is equated with being white, others did not expect, or like, that Jones was capable of speaking white English. By sharing these stories, Jones establishes the logic of her argument that African Americans are discriminated against for using Standard English. However, African Americans are not only discriminated against for using Standard English, they're discriminated against for using Black English as well, because it is seen as an inferior language. As Jones explains in her essay, many schools treat Black children poorly because they speak Black English, shaming them for speaking how they hear others speak. African American adults who use Black English face the same problem, with their use of ethnic dialects decreasing power in the marketplace. This means that African Americans who use Black English while seeking work are less likely to receive jobs, promotions, or any other increase in power. African Americans who use Black English also find it harder to acquire housing, attain loans from banks, and much more. Alright, let's hop out of the thought bubble. Jones reflects on her own experiences with discrimination to help readers understand her emotions and engage with the pathos of her essay. As a child, Jones had to defend her humble beginnings as the well-read child of a low-income family to her Black peers, with her childhood bullies even threatening to force her to swallow a few of her teeth because she spoke Standard English. In her essay, Jones confessed that what hurts most is to be stripped of her own Blackness because of her use of Standard English. Sharing these stories leads readers to sympathize with Jones, thereby engaging with the pathos of her essay, because readers understand that no child should have to defend the way they speak, be threatened because of the way they speak, or feel shamed and hurt because of the way they speak. Jones helps readers engage with the pathos of her essay by reflecting on her experiences with discrimination and her emotions during those events. So, to recap, Jones proved herself as a speaker of Standard English and Black English to build her credibility, spoke from experience and referenced studies to build the logic of her essay, and reflected on her own experiences with discrimination to help readers understand her emotions and engage with the pathos of her essay. By using ethos, pathos, and logos to engage viewers with her essay, Jones created an effective essay that explained the discrimination African American speakers of Black English and Standard English experience every day. The discrimination against African American speakers of Black English and Standard English needs to end. Black English needs to be destigmatized and needs to be considered a language that is equal to Standard English. Standard English needs to become deracialized and considered a language that anyone, regardless of race, can speak. Those are the main messages of Jones's essay. The good news is that there has been some progress made towards destigmatizing Black English. Common Black English terms like ain't, yo, he be, and also dap up, you know that thing we go, that, those have become more mainstream. The problem is that Black English is still considered by many to be an inferior language. So we need to continue to work to help others realize that Black English is equal to Standard English. We also need to work to deracialize Standard English. Nowadays, it is more acceptable for African Americans, Indians, Native Americans, and all sorts of different people from different ethnic backgrounds and nationalities to use Standard English. However, Standard English is still seen as a white language and the proper way to speak. As Jones points out in her essay, Standard English is not the proper way to speak. It's just a way of speaking. It's just a form of English. Just like there's also British English, Australian English, and I'm sure many other types of English. So, let's continue to work to deracialize Standard English and destigmatize Black English. Thanks for watching. Feel free to give Jones's essay, What's Wrong with Black English, a read by clicking in the description below. And feel free to go search up Crash Course on YouTube to watch an actual Crash Course video. I'm Teresa Matuzak, and this has been a fake rip-off version of Crash Course. Thank you.